Tired of Bluetooth keyboards that disconnect mid-workflow? I researched 5 keyboards for Mac Mini M and filtered the ones that actually work out of the box with macOS. What I found about pairing stability will save you from buying keyboards from Mac Mini M4 that frustrate more than they help. Let's dive in. Starting off at number 5, this is the one that keeps showing up when you ask Mac users about their go-to keyboard. We've got the Logitech MX Keys S for Mac. What users who've tried it highlight most is that it works out of the box with macOS. The key layout is designed specifically for Mac. Command, Option, all the function keys behave exactly as expected. No remapping required, no extra software needed to get started. Analyzing the specs and real feedback, the spherically dished keys are a standout feature. They're slightly concave to match your fingertips naturally. According to reviews from people with months of use, this small design choice makes a noticeable difference in long typing sessions. Your fingers find their place without looking down. One user summed it up well. They tried about 15 different keyboards looking for that native Mac typing experience. This was the first one that actually came close. The smart backlighting deserves mention here. Keys light up as your hands approach and adjust brightness based on ambient light automatically. Sounds like a gimmick until you're working late at night. Then it makes complete sense. A detail that comes up repeatedly in opinions is the battery. We're talking weeks of daily use on a single charge. Even with backlighting, USB-C charging when you finally need it. And it connects to up to 3 devices with dedicated keys for switching between them instant. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. This keyboard has real weight to it. It won't slide around your desk, which most users appreciate for stability. But if you need something portable for traveling, this sits on the heavier side. Also, opinions on the Logi Options software are divided. Some find it helpful for deep customization, others skip it entirely and use the keyboard straight out of the box with no issue. The only feature users consistently say they wish it had is a fingerprint scan. Beyond that, this delivers a premium typing experience with solid customization for anyone serious about their Mac setup. The link is in the description. Moving on to number 4. There's an interesting pattern in reviews that caught my attention here. Users keep comparing this to the official Apple keyboard, and most say they actually prefer it. We've got the ProtoArc Backlit wireless keyboard Mac. One user summed it up perfect. They bought it expecting a budget compromise and ended up liking the typing feel more than their old Magic keyboard. That's not something you hear often about third-party Mac accessories. The aluminum construction is worth talking. At just 0.4 inches thick, it mirrors the Apple aesthetic, but adds something Apple doesn't offer on their standalone keyboard. Backlight, 3 brightness levels, soft white LED. For anyone working late or in dim environments, that's a genuine advantage. A detail that comes up repeatedly in opinions is the multi-device switching. 3 Bluetooth channels, and you flip between your Mac Mini, iPad, and iPhone with a single button press. According to reviews from people with months of use, the connection stays stable up to 15 or 20 feet without noticeable lag. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. There's no fingerprints. If Touch ID is essential to your workflow, that's a gap. But several users mentioned their Apple Watch handles authentication anyway, so it depends on your setup. The 1800 mAh battery lasts impressively long. Users report weeks of use with backlighting on moderate levels before needing a charge. And you can keep typing while it charges via USB-C. Another thing worth noting, a few reviews mention occasional delays when waking the Mac from sleep. Not a deal breaker for most, but something to be aware of if you're sensitive to. What users who've tried it highlight most is the value proposition. Full aluminum build, comfortable scissor switches, Mac native layout, and multi-device pairing at a fraction of official Apple pricing. For Mac Mini M for users who want premium feel without premium cost, this checks the important boxes. The link is in the description. Moving on to number 3. This one caught my attention because it's a full combo deal. We've got the Seenda Bluetooth keyboard mouse combo for Mac. One user summed it up well. They paired it with their Mac Mini M4, and it connected in under a minute. No drivers, no settings to tweak. That plug-and-play simplicity is exactly what people want. The 3-channel Bluetooth is the standout feature here. You can switch between your Mac Mini, iPad, and MacBook with dedicated button. According to reviews from people with months of use, the switching works reliably without constant repairing headaches. Just press and go. Type-C charging with up to 200-hour standby means no battery hunt. A detail that comes up repeatedly in opinions is the charge lasting 1 to 2 weeks of regular use. Depends on how much you type, obviously. At just over 1/10 of an inch thin, the keyboard matches that Apple aesthetic nicely. What users who've tried it highlight most is the quiet key. Someone mentioned they type with long nails and the noise stays nearly silent. For shared spaces or late night work, that matters. There's a user who works in a dusty production shop. He specifically mentioned the included silicone cover keeps everything clean. Small addition, but genuinely useful for messy environment. Now here's what you need to keep in mind. Analyzing the specs and real feedback. Some heavy typists say the keys feel lightweight. The low-profile design also takes adjustment if you're used to more key travel, and the auto-sleep feature sometimes means your first keystroke doesn't register immediately. For power users who type all day, this might not be the final destination, but for home office setups or anyone wanting a clean desk with both keyboard and mouse covered, this delivers solid functionality without the premium price tag. The link is in the description.
These products are great, but there are hundreds of deals every day, and most of them are trash. That's why I pick the 5 best from each category every day and post them for free on Telegram. And you can choose only the categories that interest you with zero spam. Link in the description.
Moving on to number 2, there's an interesting pattern in reviews for this one. Users who juggle multiple Apple devices keep coming back to it. We've got the Macally Bluetooth keyboard for Mac. A detail that comes up repeatedly in opinions is the multi-device switching. You can pair it with up to 3 Bluetooth devices and switch between them with a simple key combo. One user mentioned pairing it with a Mac Mini, iPad, and iPhone, then jumping between all 3 without missing a beat. For anyone running a multi-device setup, that workflow alone justifies the consideration. The full-size layout matters here. You get 110 keys, including a dedicated numeric keypad and 20 Mac-specific shortcuts. The scissor switch mechanism keeps typing quiet. According to reviews from people with months of use, the feel is close to a MacBook Pro keyboard. Not identical, but close enough that muscle memory transfers over. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. Battery life is where opinions split. Some users report going months on a single charge. Others mention needing to recharge every couple of weeks with heavy use. What users who've tried it highlight most is keeping a charging routine rather than waiting for it to die mid-project. The charging port uses micro USB, not USB-C. In a Mac ecosystem that's moved on, that feels dated. And there's no backlit. If you work in dim environments, that's a real consideration. One reviewer summed it up well. They bought it as a budget alternative to the Apple keyboard, and a year later still use it daily without major issue. Analyzing the specs and real feedback, this works best for someone who wants Mac compatibility with a full numeric keypad and multi-device flexibility. It won't match Apple build quality, but for the value proposition, it delivers where it counts. The link is in the description. Before we reveal our number 1, be sure to check out the description below for the freshest deals on each of these items. And finally, number 1, if comfort during long work sessions is your priority, this one earned the top spot for good reason. We've got the Logitech Wave keys for Mac. What users who've tried it highlight most is how the Wave design doesn't feel extreme. Unlike some ergonomic keyboards that position your hands at weird angles, this one has a subtle curve. According to reviews from people with months of use, it feels natural from day one. Most say the adjustment period is about 24 hours. The cushioned palm rest is the detail that comes up repeatedly in opinion. It's not a gimmick. Users who type for hours daily report that wrist stiffness and soreness became a thing of the past. One user who upgraded from a standard flat keyboard mentioned they immediately typed faster and more accurately. That says more than any spec list. Analyzing the specs and real feedback, the 3-year battery life claim holds up in practice. Multiple users report going months without thinking about battery, and the Bluetooth connectivity stays consistent. No dropped connections, no lag, no reconnection hassles with your Mac Mini. The Mac-specific layout means Command and Option keys are exactly where you expect them. You can also switch between devices using the easy switch keys. Pairing with your Mac Mini, then hopping to your iPad works with a single tap. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. There's no backlight. If you work in dim environments or type at night, that could be a deal breaker. Also, it's a compact keyboard. Some users found their hands felt close together. A detail that comes up repeatedly in opinions is the key feel. Users describe it as springy, similar to older high-quality wired keyboard. The sound is quiet but satisfying. For anyone prioritizing ergonomics and wrist health without sacrificing the full Mac experience, this delivered. Works out of the box with Mac OS and feels built to last. The link is in the description. Now you know which keyboards actually pair reliably with your Mac Mini M4 and which ones disconnect mid-workflow. Prices in this category change without warning, so if one stood out, the links are in the description.